Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Try to leave a like, comment below, and know your thoughts on Knives Out, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I'll greatly appreciate now all that out of the way. Let's get into it, shall we? So, I've seen this movie a couple times. First things first, I love this franchise. I really do. I mean, I'm a sucker for really two types of movies, really. And, if it's not, the normal stuff, superheroes, horror, and all that, I am really always down for a heist film, and I'm always down for a good whodunit. And, what Rian Johnson has done with these three films has been great. I've seen every single one in theaters because Netflix does let these go into theaters for the first couple of weeks before they do come on out on Netflix. And I have enjoyed every single one. I think this is another solid adaptation of it. Now, I go back and forth because this isn't my favorite one. It's not. But in some ways, I do think this was the best crafted one, if that makes a lot of sense. I mean, from the cinematography, from the set decorating to, the use of lighting in a lot of ways. I mean, I go back to that scene where, Father Judd and Benoit Blanc first meet and they're talking to each other and talk about ideologies in some ways, and you see how it's like the passage of time and like a cloud covering the sun and like it gets dark and then the light comes to reflecting back in, and how that becomes a play within the film throughout the whole entire way. They use that lighting quite a bit throughout the film. And within that, crafting is really good. I also think the mystery in a lot of ways is the best one out of all the three. There was a lot of times when it kept me on my toes. Now, I will say overall, the person who I expected to have done it did do it. But I think it's because of the Knives Out playbook at this point. I think it's becoming, you're three films in, you kind of get to figure out, okay, well, we know it's not this person. We know it's not Benoit at all. So who's the next person up? Okay, yeah, no, it's probably this person here. Okay, well, maybe they had to do this. Maybe they had to do that. Now, as for the mystery itself on how they did it, boy, man, it kept me on my toes all the way through. And there was quite a bit of times throughout the film where they would stray me off from the person that I thought did it a good chunk of times where I was just like, nah. But maybe, and the way they just kept it going, there was a lot of twists and turns throughout, and a lot of good misdirections. There is a very good use of, of a simple line of, why did you do it? That kind of leads into another direction of this film that, again, I think does a very good job. I think the ensemble is very good for the people who are allowed to play, and I think that is where my criticisms for this film comes for in the most part. Is that, this one kind of harpens back to the first one a little bit. To me, I think Glass Onion is the best out of the three. That one's my top one. I rewatched all of them before watching this one, which is why I'm waiting to do this review until it now is out on Netflix. Is that, in Knives Out, I felt like, hey, you had Benoit Blanc, you had Ana de Armas, and then, there was Chris Evans, right? And then everyone else was just kind of in the background. Yeah, sure, more ensemble-y than this third film, for sure, where I feel like, okay, yeah, it could be this person, it could be this person, but I'm pretty sure it's this person. And the second one, I did feel like, okay, yeah, no, it could be any of them until, until the person who dies, right? Then after that, I'm like, oh, that person right there. And then, the mystery is kind of lacking that way, but still it kept me on my toes and I'm still very engaged. But again, overall, I feel like the second one embraced the ensemble a lot more throughout the whole entire film, and that I didn't feel like anyone was really just making up the numbers in a lot of ways. While in this third one here, again, mystery, very, very good. How they did it was very, very good. The twists and turns as we was going through it, very, very good. The cinematography, the dialogue. This movie has a great use of dark comedy that I just thought was very funny. Like, there is a scene where a body flips, and I swear it was the funniest thing ever. And, there's the use of a piano. There's all these different types of things where, again, I just think I laughed out loud a good chunk of times throughout this film. But when it came to the actual ensemble, it was like, okay, well, I know who did it. I know who's my lead. I know who's going to do this. I know who's going to do that. I need other people in the movie. While I did feel like, okay, well, we'll have this person, we'll have this type of person. And again, for the most part, I felt like they were just making up the numbers just to add suspects to the film. And I don't really see how they, not to say they didn't add anything to the film, because everyone who's in this movie really does come into play. And I'm not going to name actors in this because I don't want to, lead anything to go, oh, so I know it's not this person, I know it's not this person, because, if I say names. But everyone who's in it, when they are able to talk and they are able to act and they are able to play coy, if you will, yeah, I think they deliver a pretty good spot. Like I said, there was multiple times throughout the film I was going, no. But maybe I could see that. So, in a lot of ways, it just leaves me torn. Like, in some ways, I think it is one of the best ones that they made. Again, from a craftsmanship, from a script perspective. It's just, again, within the execution of the ensemble itself is the only thing that knocks it down for me on there. Because, again, you have, Benoit Blanc, you have the main person, and then you have the person who dies, and then, there's a couple of other players there, but, you just kind of, as you're watching it, going, well, pretty sure it's this person because, they have focus, while the others, sure, they have focus too, but not as much as this person. So while you're watching the film, you'll probably now be able to guess who did it, but just by my context that I'm giving. But it's really hard to review this film where you're trying to be as spoiler free as possible. But again, not giving out any names. It's just as the playbook goes, and you watch all of them, especially. Well, Wake Up Dead Man, I watched all, for the second time is when I watched all three, and then it became very evident on, oh, there's a playbook here. So when we do round 4, and I do hope we get round 4, again, I still had a great time with this. As someone who grew up in Christianity and Catholicism as well, I was, and has been told by a church that I may be a little too, well, not told by a church, but told by people within the church, right? Like, they didn't work for the church, but, some people in it. But, they went to the church. Well, tell me, maybe I'm a little too woke for all this. I did resonate quite a bit with Father Judd and some of the characters. I kind of like the debates that we had throughout. And even with Josh Brolin to a degree. I love the setting. And I love the cinematography. And I did like the story that we were telling. Again, I was on my toes throughout the whole entire film. I was just pretty confident in my guess, and my guess turned out to be right. But yeah, when we do round 4, let's go back to, Glass Onion type playbook, where we do have a little bit more of an ensemble, where I do feel like everyone's more prevalent. I don't know if that answer key is that Benoit Blanc needs to be throughout the whole entire film. Maybe that's another point that I give to Glass Onion, because I just love the character of Benoit Blanc. He has some great monologues in this film, especially when he first shows up and he's kind of talking about, his thoughts on the church and all that. I loved it. I loved every single second of it. And I just wanted to see a little bit more of him. And, he really doesn't come in until really the halfway point of the film. So yeah, just maybe those two things. Let's go back to Glass Onion a little bit. More Benoit presence, and again, more ensemble pieces playing throughout the whole entire film, as opposed to which is going to focus on a few people here, because these are the people that we need to focus on. If I had to rank this on the lemon scale, where it goes sour lemon at the bottom, expired store-bought lemonade bad, but hey, there's some good. Store-bought lemonade, not expired, but there's good, but there's some bad in there. Lemonade, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good, minor problems. Strawberry lemonade at the very top, because that's the best kind of lemonade. I would say Wake Up Dead Man is a freshly squeezed lemonade, which all 3 of those films have now gotten that rating. So, that's the ceiling, is that it has to get to freshly squeezed lemonade. We still haven't gotten to that strawberry lemonade Knives Out mystery. Hopefully we do get it. Like I said, I'll take as many as these movies as I can get. Because I just love the world. I love Benoit Blanc. I love Rian Johnson's work. I am even a fan of The Last Jedi. Oh, there goes my subscriber count. But yeah, freshly squeezed lemonade here. Out of the 3, it is probably 3. I'm still debating between that one and Knives Out 1. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I had a lot of fun. If you want to watch it, it is on Netflix. It is a good watch. It's probably great for at home. I would also enjoy it in the theater because I watched in a full crowd, and the bouncing back and forth between the ooh, ah, ha, ha's were really, really good throughout the whole entire film. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. Let me know y'all thoughts of it down in the comment section. Leave a like if you made this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you all. So squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.